Hello Ride On people, I've got quite a busy weekend this weekend. I'm going to test ride the K1600B bagger. I need to do a video on my experience with the Nuviz heads up display high def GPS headset for the helmet. I'm also riding the new Softails and also going to a British car and bike fair or show, which should be interesting. Should be getting footage of all of that, so look out for all the different videos on the Nuviz, the K1600B first ride, the new Harley Davidson Softail first rides, and the Brit Car and Bike Show. Stay tuned.
And it's got that, their next generation of so you've got preload, but now you've got just cruise and road.
Okay.
So which one do you want to start in?
Let's have road. Road's fine.
Okay, so you know this bike, right? So
Sure.
Have
Should
fun.
be good.
We'll see you when you get back.
All right. Thank you, sir.
So I got to ride the BMW K1600B bagger. It's a bike I've been looking forward to riding for quite some time now. It's obviously based on the inline 6 BMW K1600 GT and the GTL, which is the more touring version with the top case, tour pack, as opposed to the GTs, just basic panniers. And this bike is based on the 101 concept that Roland Sands did a couple of years ago for BMW, and it's a much more kind of sleek cruiser style, kind of slammed looking bike, only available in black for this coming year, and it looks very sleek, like a kind of some kind of supercharged Maybach or something really. And I like the looks of it in the flesh. It looks a really nice bike, and I was fortunate enough to ride this particular model. It was fitted with a low seat, and I think that may be better for people maybe kind of 5'8" and under. I'm 6'2", so the standard seat would have been pretty much perfect for me. I think this was just a minuscule cramped, and fortunately this bike was absolutely brand new. I'm probably one of the first people in Georgia to ride one. This bike only had 8 miles on the clock, so big shout out to BMW Ducati of Atlanta in Marietta there, and also my contact Rick for making this happen. In terms of the things that weren't so good with the bike, nothing springs to mind really, except for those wanting piston slapping old school character should probably look a little elsewhere. It's obviously quite a clinically efficient, thoroughly modern motorcycle, so it's not going to be full of character, and it's not going to kind of shake and rattle your bones. In terms of things that are a little bit indifferent or average, I'd say the screen was a bit low, particularly for tall people like myself. Obviously the standard screen is set low to mimic its competition, and I would say its competition are things like the Harley Davidson Street Glide, or on the used scene the Honda F6 bagger, which I believe is now out of production, and also the forthcoming new Yamaha, the Transcontinental, which has just been released this month, also has a new variant which is very much like this, a low screen, lowered, kind of slammed out, sleeker looking bagger. And I think for those that must have a V-twin and must have a Harley, they'll probably be drawn to the Street Glide. Those that must have a V-twin but don't really favour Harley may be interested in the Yamaha. And for everybody else, I think the BMW is right on the money, basically. So the screen was a bit low, and that's really kind of aping the Street Glide and the F6B. But it's something that can be easily changed, and I would imagine aftermarket stuff will be available sometime soon. The bike itself is not quite as agile as my current ride, the GS Adventure, but then again it has much wider tyres and obviously more cruiser geometry, so no surprises there. But it was certainly agile enough, and it wasn't particularly difficult to change direction on, particularly with those lovely high wide bars that are fitted as standard. I thought the throttle response in the softer mode was a little bit laggy, just kind of, just very soft, and again that may suit some people, particularly those coming from twin camel before Harley Tourers perhaps. But also in dynamic mode it felt very much more as requested, much more WYSIWYG, so I tended to leave it in road mode with for the suspension setting, and in dynamic mode for the throttle, and for that it felt pretty much spot on for general road use. In terms of things that are good, well, pretty much otherwise everything is pretty much perfection on this bike. It's very probably the smoothest engine I've ever driven, whether that's a car or bike, and that's quite a statement in itself, really. It's really butterly smooth in terms of clutchless upshifts. The quick shifter works so much better. It's a pro shifter, so it's an up and down movement without the clutch, and that works so much better than the one on the GS. I think really the extra 4 cylinders are just helping that smoothness, perhaps with that shift. And for those that have never used one, you basically just keep the throttle open. You don't roll off the throttle at all. You don't pull in the clutch. You just keep the throttle open and you snick up through the box clutchlessly, and it's better on an accelerating throttle. Really, on a steady throttle or when you're rolling off, quick shifters don't tend to work so well on the upshift. But obviously on the downshift, with the throttle rolled off on the overrun, the downshift is smooth as well. And one of the unique selling points it has, which I don't think any other bikes have, bar the Goldwing and the aforementioned Yamaha Intercontinental, it has a reverse gear, and it's really excellent, I have to say. Press R and R lights up in the screen. Press and hold the starter button, and there's a little slave motor that revs up the engine, and that starter motor moves you backwards, and it really does it effortlessly. It just wafts you back at a fair clip of useful speed, so it would be good even on a slight incline where you've got to reverse uphill, I think. And it's a big, long, heavy bike, and it just makes it so much easier. So really, really nice touch, and particularly for those short of leg or perhaps short of strength, maybe you've got a weak ankle or something like that. So just fabulous, really, really nice touch. The highway boards feel great, and legs are not splayed too wide, unlike some Harley Davidson Tourers. And I got asked in my previous video of the initial impressions on this whether the highway boards felt natural, whether the braking and gear change control should be where the running boards are. I think it would work well if they were where the running boards are, but equally they feel very natural where they currently are, the controls, and the floorboards feel really good at my current height. So I would say that's not too much of an issue, and that the highway boards feel great. Even at 6'2", they felt pretty much in the perfect place. Again, I would have liked the highest seat height just to feel even better, but I could live with the low seat height if I had to. But I would prefer the regular seat height, and would advise anybody about 5'8" or over probably to go for the regular seat height. I think somebody as short as maybe 5'5" could probably manage the lower seat height, particularly if they're comfortable with a heavy machine. And it's not quite Harley Tourer heavy, but it's no middleweight either. In terms of smoothness and effortless comfort, I mean, really for 250, 500 mile days, it's most definitely the one to be on. It's what you want. In conclusion, it's phenomenally smooth, crushingly easy to cover big miles on. It wafts along like a Bentley GT car, and I really can't think of a better motorcycle, past or present, that could really ride the depth and breadth of the country with such consummate ease. Those that ride it better be prepared to cut a check, that's all I can say. It really is a fantastic machine. Lastly, I'd like to say thanks again to Rick, my contact, for arranging this initial ride on the bike. I know they're very, very, very difficult to get hold of and ride at the moment, and I really appreciate them. Reach out to my good friends in Marietta and ask for Rick if you'd like to see the bikes that they currently have in stock, and I think they have four K1600s in stock at present, but probably not for that long. So last but not least, ride often, ride carefully, and ride on.